I'd like to get this 110 V8 finished and out of the way pretty soon, because as you can see now it's been snowing. It's -5 at the moment. The oil leaks have been a bit of a problem. So the other day I took it for its first drive up the road. I've never driven it before. Well, it wouldn't start or anything like that. But yeah, let's just say it was an interesting experience. So as you can probably see here, I've not been out to the car. I'm going to press the pedal once to set the choke and hopefully it'll start. Right, here goes nothing. Right. Is that camera up there? That's better, isn't it? Right. Press the pedal. Make sure it's in neutral. It's got a good starter on it, and the battery's good as well. It just doesn't sort of catch first time, and I don't know why. I'm still sort of convinced that it's cutting fuel off. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll get it running and I'll get it in the shop, and then we'll have a look underneath it when it's warmed up, because you get all this snow off. This is what I don't like about spare wheels on bonnets, roof racks and things like that. It's getting all the bloody snow off. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's solid. I thought it was just fluffy stuff. Right, back soon. Well, I got it in the shop. I took it up the hill again just for get it warmed up. Once it's warm, it runs great. It's just that cold start. It's bizarre. I don't know anything about those carbs. I don't really want to know either, to tell you the honest truth. Heater's not working. The steering wheel catches on the cowl. The pedal is so far off the floor, you have to lift your foot up to put your foot on the accelerator. What else? I'm not really sure. There's some other bits and pieces. The tyres are on it. These are old tyres, and this sort of Michelin pattern, and driving them on ice is nasty. Coming down the hill, you think you're going to lose it. It's really awkward. So I don't know. Oh, and what was the other thing that I was going to say? Our friend Mark sent us a side marker, because this one on here was broken. That means now we can put that onto there, and it's all legal. You know, these are very, very hard to find now. Anyway, we'll leave it to get warmed up, and then we'll have a look underneath it, maybe tomorrow, because it'll take a little while for this snow to melt off. And of course, bringing a car into your shop like this that's full of snow and ice, it just drops the temperature in here tremendously. Not fun. So it's Saturday morning. I've jumped back onto this 110 just to have a look round now it's thawed out. I crawled underneath. Good news, the gearbox has stopped leaking. There's no leaks out of the gearbox. That little trick I did with some RTV sealer and a bolt and a washer, and then forcing it in and then forcing that gasket material to seal up that leak has worked a charm. So that means the gearbox doesn't have to come out. bad news is the crank seal's leaking. It really is, the crank seal's leaking. Now, could we rejuvenate it with some snake oil? I don't know, maybe. Or the other alternative is to take the engine out. Not too bad to do on these jobs, but it's another job, isn't it? This hasn't done all that many kilometres. It's only done about 80,000 kilometres, it hasn't done much. So that would indicate that the seal isn't worn out from high miles. It's probably just dried out. It's lost its flexibility. So would it be worth trying a product to rejuvenate the seals? I think it might be. Even if it costs $30–40, it's a lot cheaper than taking an engine out. Because I imagine the lips on these seals are quite good, it's just that it can't clinch around the crank. Other thing, heater was stopped working, now it's working again, I don't know why that is. What else? We've got the lights are working. It's got a funny drive. I'm very reluctant to drive this on these roads. I don't know, I think it's got a rattle from the front somewhere, but I don't know where. The bearings are all tight, and that's okay, but could it be a shock? I'm not sure. But like I say, it's a nightmare to drive. And one of the things that's making it a nightmare to drive is the position of the throttle pedal. Now I had a look at that and I found something very interesting. If I offer up a used throttle pedal, accelerator pedal, you can see the difference in height. It doesn't seem much, but it's awfully uncomfortable because you can see here that the original's almost flat. So I thought, well, it's not too much, I'll adjust the cable, but the cable's at its end of an adjustment. I put a new cable on it, but when I was sort of playing around with this, I found something very interesting, even though this was a new cable. Listen. It is a nightmare to push down. Now, in days gone... I don't know where I was now, I was rudely interrupted, but what I was going to say was, in days gone by when we've had noises like that from cables, it's sometimes a sign that it's been grounding through a cable and the insulation, the nylon insert has gone. So it looks like I'm going to have to take that cable off, no big deal, and look at it, and also try and figure out if I can do something with this pedal. It seems bizarre. It wants to be down here, but I don't know if you can see. Where's my light? Here. You see the stop? It seems to be it's like 1/4 of an inch missing out of it. The thing is, as well, when we go around and have a look at the cable and the bracket and things like that I made, we haven't got much adjustment on there. So I might have to make another one, I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get that cable out. Welcome to the weird world of Land Rovers. Got the cable off, as you can see here. Watch down here. Why is it grabbing? I don't know. So I think I might try and use this pedal because it's already got set up here and here. You know, there's the stop at the bottom and there's the stop for the top. Easy. Except the spring's broke. Don't want to, well, you can't buy a new spring. I don't think you can anyway. And to get this pin out, well, it's a bit of a challenge because I just put this through the wet bead blaster and there's a tiny pin there, a little roll pin holding this all together. Now I don't really want to take that out. I might have a go, but it's so small it'll probably bend the punch. So what I intend to do is sort of rearrange this spring. I found out if I can move this, maybe I can bend this spring till it becomes as a stop, and then when I pull this back, this is going to push up here. It's very difficult to see, but let's see what I can do. Oh, well, there's a result. I just bent it and put the little leg here. It's not as powerful as it was before, but remember it's got a great big boingy on the cable end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to call Jim to see if he's available to help me get the bolts out. They're really difficult to put back in together, if you see what I mean, because I can't put my hands around both sides. So I'll give Jim a call, but in the meantime, I'm going to put some lubricating oil down this cable. Because I've got a sneaking feeling it's coming out at an angle like this, and it's dragging. Whereas when I pull it like that, you see there's plenty of return spring on it. Damn carb's going to be full of petrol shortly. But it seems as if it's out of square. Hopefully this will cure it. So I asked Jim to come down to hold these nuts and bolts while I undid them, and worked great. This pedal is the original one, and you can see when it's on the car, it's almost horizontal. That's why it was so uncomfortable to drive. Now it's down here, so this was 18 centimetres off the floor, and a regular one was about 11. So there's a big difference. But you can see here, this is the thing that's a puzzle. The stop should be here. Bizarre. So I don't know, it seems to have fixed it. I did have enough adjustment on the pedal, which was good. Another jobbed. Next thing. At long last I found out how to adjust the high idle on this carburetor. I've been looking at it all morning on YouTube to see how you do it. And it was really, I couldn't understand where they said the high idle screw was. And apparently what you've got to do is open the main throttle, and then at the opposite side, on that side, it drops down a little screw, and it's got a 1/4 inch AF head on it, and it was hitting the cam in the wrong place.
The adjustment that controls the RPMs is the fast idle cam. When the accelerator pedal is pushed to the floor before a cold engine startup, the fast idle cam holds the primary throttle plates open a bit more than usual to raise the idle RPMs during warm-up. The fast idle cam also has a series of steps on the cam that will step down the engine's idle RPM until the choke plate is fully open. The fast idle speed is set at the factory and should give you about 1500 to 1600 RPM at cold startup. In most cases, you won't need to make adjustments. If your engine requires a higher idle speed or is not idling around 1600 RPM at startup, you'll want to adjust the fast idle screw. To make the adjustment, turn the engine off and let it cool until the choke is fully closed. With the engine off, push the throttle to its wide open position and hold it there. This will expose the fast idle set screw from behind the choke housing. Using a 1/4 inch open-end wrench, turn the screw clockwise to increase the RPM or counterclockwise to decrease the RPM. Close the throttle, restart the engine, and check your engine RPM. Adjust as many times as needed until the engine idles well from a cold start until fully warmed up. Also keep
I've never seen that in a month of Sundays. So now it actually starts better, because apparently that little screw opens the butterflies for the carb to let more fuel through. Now if it's a hot engine, it wasn't doing that. I don't think it. Let's see. What you call me a liar. So that's good. Next thing, this oil leak at the back of the engine, the crank seal. Some guys in the UK suggested I use a product called Forte or something like that. It's in a black tube. Unfortunately, we can't get it here. You can get it in the States, but it would be cheaper to move the United States to Canada. It's really expensive. So the next best thing, going through all the reviews I've read, was bars seal. Now this isn't just a general stop leak things. People expect sump gaskets to stop leaking, you know, head gaskets to stop leaking. It won't really do that. But if it can rejuvenate the rubber, then it's worth $35 for a go. Because I think it will. I think this car has been stood for years and years and years not running. It's only shown about 80,000 kilometres. Well, that's not much since what, late 1980s? It's done nothing. So I'm going to give that a go. I'm quite happy with everything else now. I think what I'll do, I'm going to have a crawl underneath and see where that rattle's coming from when it's stationary. Because when I lift it up on my lift, the suspension drops down and everything's sort of tight. Now the body weight's on the suspension, we can see if there's any rattles and knocks. I'll just have to crawl underneath And I think that's about it. Oh, one thing I don't like. Where is it? Oh, it's over there. The air filter on this thing is a great big pancake air filter. And unfortunately, because this has got the wheel on the bonnet here, water gets on top of the air cleaner. That's not good, because it was all icy the other day when I looked at it. I've got the exhaust to tighten up, but again, I won't tighten up the exhaust until I'm sure that the oil leak stopped, and I think we can do it. Now the problem with the oil leak sealing is I don't want to drive this around. It's cold, but I might just keep it running in the yard and get the oil circulating and warm and see what it does, and like start it every other day. Like I say, I've adjusted the carb now. I had a job trying to find that little tiny little bugger screw, so getting it filmed it wouldn't work, but believe me, it's on the other side. So that's it. Well, here we are under the car, and we can see instantly where our rattle was coming from. This bolt here isn't even tight. It's got a nut on it. It's not even tight. All the rest look good. Joints are good. All under here is nice. Bit of oil leak out there. It's no big deal. I didn't need to take the steering wheel off. It's a really simple job sometimes. Dismantling tool, available in my shop. Wedge it between the steering wheel and the cowl. And then, underneath, you'll find there's 3 screws. These haven't been put in very well, but somebody's been in this before. Wait a minute, I can't get my flashlight working. Right, see, there's one there, one there, one there. All the rest of the screws are sort of broken off. Loosen them off, wedge it off, and then it'll be fine. So that's that. I think we can safely take this car out and finish off the Range Rover now.